What is something you will regret all your life? Probably not spending more time with my grandparents when I had the chance. It's one of those things you don't realize you'll miss until it's too late. My grandfather just passed away, and I have been having to come to terms with this. I attended his funeral yesterday, and it's just so final. I miss him. Just a quick off-my-chest moment. My final grandparent, my mother's mother, is still alive, but we have barely had any contact in ages due to a huge rupture in the family. One of her children, my uncle, planted the seed in her head that my father was stealing from her, essentially leading to my grandmother suing my father and putting all of us, especially my mother, in a terrible position. This happened years ago and is still ongoing due to slow legal processes in my country. I will never forgive my uncle for doing this, since he had essentially stolen the last years I have with my grandmother. So essentially, my grandmother is still alive, but I may as well not have any grandparents anymore. It is an awful feeling I don't wish on anyone. Not buying Bitcoin when I was a 3-month-old fetus. At least you have an excuse. My friend got some in 2010 while I was too busy being skeptical. And almost 15 years of, it can't possibly go higher. Later, here I am, still broke and still working dead-end jobs. Putting in my headphones during the 2-hour train ride with my aunt from Montreal. We had just spent the weekend celebrating her bachelorette, and I was burnt out, but I know she would have loved to talk. She died a week later. She never got to have her wedding. She was like a second mother to me. Oh, that reopened an old wound for me. I'm 70 years old now, but when I was 17, my grandfather went in for what I thought was a routine surgery. We had an argument beforehand, and for the first time ever, he reached out his hand to apologize. I refused to accept it. Less than an hour later, he passed away. I'm crying now just thinking about it. I lost a grandma to what was supposed to be a routine surgery as well. I was impatient to wrap up the visit during what ended up being the last time I ever saw her. She said to us she didn't want to die yet, and we all rolled our eyes and told her she was being dramatic. The last conversation we as a family had with her. I have been married to the love of my life for over 3 decades, but I will always regret that. When I was young and didn't know how, I couldn't love my first wife in a way that made her feel truly valued and cherished. She deserved better. Oh man, feel this one hard. There's one from my past that I wish I could have been more present, more patient, more giving, and more open with. It absolutely would not have changed the outcome, but it would have made the time we had so much gentler and warmer. She deserved it. I've been married for 16 years, with him for 20. I was a shrew, an absolute terror of a mess. He loved me through all of it, and not a single day did I deserve it. I finally got therapy and healing for severed childhood trauma. We've been happily married for the last 2 years of those 16. He was almost killed on his motorcycle this summer. He's 8 years older than me. I regret so much, and time is a thief. I can't do anything to get back those terrible years and the way I treated him. I can only live every day moving forward and staying in the moment, cherishing him. There are moments daily I apologize individually for things I have said and done. He's a saint to forgive me. I never want another day to pass without him. I can only hope we continue to have 50 more years of good together. But if there is one thing I learned, it's that life didn't happen to us, it happened for us. I love him so. If you have a realistic interest or goal that you just keep putting off out of laziness or, I'll get to it eventually, you'll regret that eventually. Simple things like wanting to get scuba certified, learn an instrument, get reasonably fit, learn a language, etc. Those are mostly things that take 20 to 30 minutes 5 days a week, or a weekend a couple of times a year. That's a doable commitment for most people, but people push it off for various and usually bad reasons. If you have an interest, then commit to it. Force yourself to do it for 3 months no matter what. After 3 months you may not actually enjoy it, but now you know. If you do enjoy it, then you've got the habit started. I'm guilty of this myself. I've wanted to learn guitar since I was a teenager. I started once and gave up after a few days because my fingers hurt, and a video game I enjoy came out. I'm about to turn 40 and I'm just now committed to actually learning it. I'm practicing 15 to 20 minutes each day no matter what, and I've got formal lessons scheduled for the new year. Hell, you may end up not liking something, but it leads you elsewhere. I wanted to be scuba certified and finally did it 10 years ago. Turns out it's just okay for me. There's a lot of gear, it's heavy cumbersome, and I just didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. But that journey led me to free diving and spearfishing, which I enjoy immensely. I don't think I'd have ever considered free diving if I didn't try scuba first. If it's reasonable, then just fucking do it. I needed to see this today. Thank you. Not pursuing friendships with people that showed actual interest and well-intention towards me, but sticking to bad, toxic friends that I eventually had to drop instead. Not taking care of my physical health when I was younger. I had a rough time mentally, so I don't blame myself as harshly since I already was at my limit. But it will bite me in the ass one day, and I already notice first signs of future issues. Also, giving up on hobbies. Again, it was partly forced due to my mental illnesses, but I will forever grieve it. Not getting help for my mental health sooner. Not realizing how bad it had gotten. I don't know if I'm going to recover from this burnout. I threw away all my audio recordings from my childhood. I had a tape recorder when I was 12, and I made about 10 tapes of my jokes and whatever I was thinking. I'm 31 now, and I'd like to listen to them again to remember who I was when I was 12. Not brushing your teeth. Lots of people don't realize that you can't just do nothing for your teeth and then try to make up for it all at once. And even if you wanted to do something like, oh, I'll just replace any that fall out with implants. 1. Implants aren't anywhere near as good as just having your teeth in the first place. 2. The implants aren't maintenance-free, so you're still going to have to start brushing. And 3. Not taking care of your teeth can often lead to bone loss that means you can't get implants anyway. And that's how you end up with dentures at 45. And also meth. The meth really doesn't help. Not trusting my own instincts, and letting my midwife and husband convince me I was just tired when I kept telling them I thought something was wrong while I was in labor at home the day before my son's stillbirth. I'm so sorry for your loss. Not standing up for myself earlier. I have too many to list, so I pretend there's none, that way my heart will stop breaking. Not saving money earlier in life. Being scared to take risks, caring about what others think of me. Not choosing myself on times when I should have to. Not following through with plans. Not learning a new language. Not keeping promises. Franca, she asked me if I needed a lift, emphatically, practically begging me to get in the car with her. I was such an idiot. She was a super nice person and beyond hot. Focusing too much on material things. Not getting my college degree right out of high school. I fucked around. Took 30 years to graduate, and I'm going to pay for it by working until I die. If it makes you feel any better, right after high school, I went for a degree at an expensive school and justified it with the knowledge I'd be paid well in the career. Got the degree, but you know, life happens and gets in the way. Things get expensive. I was never able to save as much as I would have liked to. Then I got super burnout and injured. Healthcare direct patient contact daily. I'm pretty sure I will never ever use the degree again. Anyway, moral of the story is that I'll be paying my shit off till I die. To the system is really broken, man. Not appreciating the little moments. Not forgiving people who hurt me. Not taking more photos to capture memories. Letting regrets hold me back. Not pursuing a career I truly wanted. Leaving a man who loved me unconditionally, a man who was everything every woman dreams of but so few experience in a lifetime. I couldn't love him, and I couldn't see a future with him. I will always regret that I couldn't stay, and I'll forever regret that I couldn't love him. I have an eternal debt to repay to him, one I was never able to settle. I kept losing my contact lenses. They're pretty expensive too, so I thought it would be easier to keep track of them if I superglued them to my eyeballs. It seemed like a good idea, but well, to make a long story short, don't. My mum had a heart attack. She was full of blood thinner from the first hospital and couldn't have surgery right away. She had to wait it out. Meanwhile, she was sitting up in bed, joking around, not at all seeming that bad off. But she was, because when they tried weaning her off the cocktail of IVs, she would fizzle. She patted the bed and said, "Come sit with me." I was very uncomfortable doing it and declined. I was incredibly worried about snagging the 4 or kinking it. She said she understood and it was okay. She passed 3 days later from complications during surgery. I keep playing that over and over in my head, wishing I had been less of a wuss. That I denied her a last snuggle. It crushes me. What is something you will regret all your life? Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this one.